you that one of history's darkest regimes was obsessed with finding a mythical underwater city? Welcome to the bizarre world of the Nazi quest for Atlantis. The legend of Atlantis originates from the works of the Greek philosopher Plato, who lived in the 4th century BCE. In his dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, Plato described a powerful and advanced civilization that existed around 9,000 years before his time. According to Plato, Atlantis was a maritime power located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar. It was said to be larger than Libya and Asia combined and was home to a sophisticated society with advanced technology, abundant resources, and a complex system of canals and concentric islands. Plato painted a vivid picture of a utopian society that eventually fell out of favor with the gods. In a single day and night of misfortune, the island of Atlantis disappeared into the depths of the sea. For centuries, the Atlantis myth captured the imagination of explorers, philosophers, and artists. In the 16th century, Spanish conquistadors wondered if the Aztec and Inca empires could be remnants of Atlantis. During the Renaissance, scholars debated whether Plato's account was fact or allegory. The 19th century saw a surge in Atlantis enthusiasm. Ignatius Donnelly's 1882 book, Atlantis, The Antediluvian World, popularized the idea that Atlantis was the cradle of all civilization. This notion would later fuel dangerous ideologies. From Francis Bacon's New Atlantis to Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the Lost City became a symbol of utopian dreams and lost knowledge. Each era reimagined Atlantis to fit its own preoccupations and anxieties. As we enter the 20th century, a dark cloud looms over Europe. The aftermath of World War I left Germany in economic and political turmoil. It was in this climate of instability and resentment that the Nazi Party, led by Adolf Hitler, rose to power. The Nazis promoted a racist ideology that claimed Aryan superiority. They combined pseudo-science, mysticism, and selective interpretation of history to support their worldview. Ancient myths, including that of Atlantis, would soon be co-opted for sinister purposes. Enter Heinrich Himmler, Hitler's right-hand man and the architect of the Holocaust. Himmler was deeply interested in the occult and esoteric traditions. He believed that by uncovering ancient Germanic and Nordic traditions, he could provide a mystical justification for Nazi ideology. Himmler was particularly drawn to the idea of a lost Aryan homeland. He became convinced that the Aryan race, which the Nazis considered superior, originated from the lost civilization of Atlantis. This belief was not just a personal fascination, it became an integral part of Nazi mythology. To pursue these ideas, Himmler established the Ahnenerbe in 1935. The name means ancestral heritage, and its official purpose was to research the archaeological and cultural history of the Aryan race. The Ahnenerbe was not a fringe group, it was a well-funded, state-sponsored organization with over 50 departments covering everything from folklore and music to weapons testing. It attracted academics and researchers who were willing to twist their findings to fit Nazi ideology. The organization's true purpose was to provide scientific-looking evidence for Nazi racial theories, including the Atlantis origin myth. No expense was spared in this quest to rewrite history. The Ahnenerbe conducted numerous expeditions across the globe. They searched for evidence of ancient Aryan migrations and the remnants of Atlantis. These weren't just academic pursuits, they were attempts to justify Nazi expansionism and racial policies. In Tibet, Ahnenerbe expeditions measured skulls and recorded facial features, trying to prove a link between Tibetans and Aryans. In Finland, they studied runes and folklore, seeking connections to ancient Germanic traditions. One of the most notable expeditions was to Bolivia, where Ernst Schäfer led a team to study the ruins around Lake Titicaca. Some Nazi theorists believed this might have been a colony of Atlantis. The Atlantis myth was just one piece of a larger puzzle of Nazi pseudo-science. The regime employed a wide array of pseudo-scientific ideas to support their worldview. Racial biology was used to categorize people and justify discrimination. Esoteric cosmology suggested a divine origin for the Aryan race. Even physics wasn't safe. The concept of Deutsche Physik rejected Einstein's theories because of his Jewish heritage. This misuse of science and mythology had devastating consequences. It provided a veneer of legitimacy to Nazi policies, including eugenics programs and, ultimately, the Holocaust. The Nazi propaganda machine skillfully wove these pseudo-scientific ideas into their messaging. The myth of Atlantis, with its tale of a superior lost civilization, fit perfectly into their narrative of Aryan supremacy. Posters, films, and radio broadcasts spread the idea that Germans were descendants of a godlike Atlantean race. This narrative was used to justify expansionism. The Nazis claimed they were simply reclaiming lands that had once belonged to their ancestors. The Atlantis myth also played into the Nazi obsession with purity. They portrayed the sinking of Atlantis as a cautionary tale about the dangers of racial mixing, further fueling their genocidal ideology. As Germany plunged the world into war, the Atlantis obsession and other mythological beliefs fueled Nazi atrocities. These weren't just abstract ideas, they had real, horrifying consequences. The concept of Aryan superiority, supported by myths like Atlantis, was used to justify the invasion of other countries. It was used to rationalize the murder of millions in concentration camps. The search for Aryan origins even continued amidst the chaos of war, with Himmler ordering expeditions and studies until the very end. The defeat of Nazi Germany didn't end the influence of their pseudo-archaeological ideas. Many of the concepts propagated by the Ahnen Erbe found new life in post-war pseudoscience and alternative history theories. Books like Erich von Däniken's Chariots of the Gods popularized ideas about ancient, advanced civilizations that echoed Nazi theories. The History Channel's Ancient Aliens continues this tradition, often unwittingly rehashing concepts that have their roots in Nazi pseudoscience. The Atlantis myth itself continues to captivate the public imagination, though thankfully without the racist overtones of the Nazi era. However, the danger of twisting history and science to fit ideological narratives remains ever present. The Nazi search for Atlantis stands as a stark warning about the dangers of mythologizing history and misusing science. When myth meets power, the consequences can be catastrophic. In our world of alternative facts and conspiracy theories, this lesson is more crucial than ever. As we grapple with our own modern mythologies, we must remain vigilant against those who would use ancient legends to justify present-day prejudices. The story of the Nazi obsession with Atlantis reminds us of the importance of critical thinking, rigorous science, and honest historical inquiry. Only by learning from this dark chapter can we hope to prevent history from repeating itself. Or, is there a little bit of truth in the myths, legends, and unexplained? Do examine the facts, decide for yourself, then come back and check out our next mystery we examine.